The member from Hennepin, Representative Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, last night I gave some thought to try and figure out what is the purpose of these rule changes. What is the motivation? First thing that came to mind was in the interest of time, people not wanting to spend long hours here on the House floor and so forth. But when I started to look at, are we really getting at the heart of the issue of time management, I have to say that we aren't. Today is a prime example. Session was scheduled to start at 10:30. We didn't start until 10:40. We had committee hearings. We're addressing one of the biggest problems this state has seen in a century. We have a $4.8 billion budget deficit. And yet, when did committee hearings start? For me, I serve on 4 committees. We were a week behind in starting on our committee process, okay? An entire week behind. And since serving in those committees, have we actually got at the work of addressing the budget? No, we have not. So if we're here today saying that we want to try and speed up the process, make sure that we finish on time in addressing this budget, I find that laughable. I sat on the Government Operations Committee last session. I had the honor to serve with Representative Pulaski. He is a man of very timeliness. I'll say that. When we looked at the different recommendations of how we could make things work better, which I am all for, we looked at the committee process. And I want to say that I feel that everybody that sat in that room, including the members that weren't a part of the committee, everyone agreed that the committee process is where the problem is at. We don't have the time in the committee process to address these issues, especially when we're starting a week late altogether. We don't take into consideration, we don't delve into these budget issues like we should, and a whole host of other issues. But today, instead of addressing the committee process, we're addressing what's happening here on the floor. Once again, members on that side of the aisle are going at it backwards. We have the prime opportunity to really get at this issue, whether it's making sure that we have bills well in advance so that we're more well informed and don't have 10,000 questions on the committee floor, whether it's the opportunity to maybe talk to the chair or the author of the bill in between time so we can maybe ask those questions in private and don't have to spend that time on the floor. There are a whole host of things that we could do through the committee process or beforehand just by having common courtesy. Today, this is a slap in the face. All this is an effort to gag members. And as other members pointed out here today, it's not just gagging members of the minority, it's gagging members over there. Who decides how much time that we're going to have? The members of the Rules Committee? Well, does everybody serve on the Rules Committee? No, they don't. So it's that select body that's going to decide how many minutes that we debate on an issue, and in essence, how many amendments we're allowed to offer because of that time constraint. And then do they decide who gets to stand up and speak on the floor? Though I like Marty, Representative Seifert, I don't want him telling my caucus who gets to stand up on the floor on an issue. I don't think it should be just the members of that committee that discuss that issue. That's the whole point that we bring bills to the floor in the first place, is because we need to have, as an entire body, decide on this. You're basically eliminating the floor process altogether. Why even bother to come to the floor? You're basically saying we're just going to leave it in the committees, folks, and those are the people that are going to decide on that issue. When the Health and Human Services bill comes to the floor, I want to have the opportunity to look it over. When the K-12 bill comes to the floor, I want to have the opportunity to take a look at it and see what kind of questions that I have. I was elected to serve here, and the people that I represent, the over 37,000 people that I represent, expect to have a voice on the floor. And I find it's a joke that you guys are going out and having listening sessions over the next 2 weeks. You're cutting more committee time, mind you. In the next 2 weeks, we're going to have listening sessions, but yet you don't even want to hear from the people that they elected. I was elected to serve those people, and yet you want to cut off my debate. I'm wondering, Representative Surdich, if when you have those listening sessions next week, are you going to cut off the debate for those individuals? How much time do they get? When we get to these bills, if it's limited to 20 minutes, there's 134 members in this body. So we're, 15 seconds per bill? That's what we're allowed? I'm supposed to tell the 37,000 people that I represent that they get 15 seconds on the bill? I think what sticks out to me most in looking at past debate on this issue is the comments from Representative Irv Anderson. And I apologize for repeating, Representative Seifert mentioned this. But if you had the chance to know Representative Irv Anderson, former Speaker of the House, he was a man that was known to rule this House with an iron fist. He was a tough guy. But having said that, Irv prides himself. He says, "I'm proud to tell the people that as Speaker of the House, I never gagged or limited their speech on the House floor." I think there's a lesson to be learned from that, folks. Though you may think that this is a good idea today, someday you will not have the majority. It happens. It's ebb and flow. That's the way it works in Minnesota. I promise to you that if I am still in the legislature at that time, I will never impose such a huge affront on the residents of Minnesota. I think this is wrong. I don't care who's in the majority. You should not limit debate. That is the whole point that we're here. That's the whole reason we were elected. And members, really strongly encourage you to give a lot of thought to this. Thank you.